Hello, and welcome to today's Digital Dealer webinar. Today's webinar is titled Dealer to Dealer Open Forum, presented by ZMOT Auto, a proud member of the Cardinale Group of Companies. At this time, I would like to introduce Eric Gale, the CEO of the Cardinale Group of Companies.
Sean, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We appreciate the time that you've invested to share with us this morning, and we value your insights and your questions. And we want to kick off properly by giving just a quick overview of the Cardinale Group of Companies. Ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed and privileged with a diverse portfolio of 3 aligned companies, first and foremost of which is our automotive group. We are privileged to operate 19 retail locations throughout California, Arizona, and Nevada, representing 10 OEM brand partners. Additionally, and is our sponsor this morning, ZMOT Automotive Digital Velocity, which is an investment and performance partner within the retail dealer-to-dealer space, providing solutions for in-market buyer targeting and acquisition. And lastly, of course, is our vehicle supply operation, where we work and serve and support the needs of OEM manufacturers in their new product development. Specifically to the Cardinale Automotive Group, we are blessed with a current standing based on the Ward's data sets to be the #2 highest sales volume e-retail dealer in the US and Canada. This represents for us a culmination of many, many years that we have focused our operations and aligned our disciplines and our process to focus our entire digital strategy on in-market buyers. And our continued success is really due in large part to those disciplines and the leadership that we are blessed with in a dealer-to-dealer relationship with ZMOT, some of which our primary leaders are on this call to help facilitate today. And I'd like to introduce Ashley Mayberry, who is the Director of Retail Performance. And Ashley is a 14-year industry veteran, having spent her entire career and continues to do so by leading and serving from the showroom floor. She's been blessed with having been a BDC and marketing director, an internet sales director, and a sales manager, as well as a high-performing sales associate early in her career throughout a variety of dealer groups in metro markets of the Western United States. And joining her today is Ms. Bobby Herron, who is the Director of Dealer Marketing. And Bobby is a plus 14, 15-year automotive industry veteran. She is the 2014 Automotive News 40 Under 40 winner for retail automotive. Equally blessed with an extremely exciting and diverse career spanning really every role within the dealership, from general manager to sales manager, finance manager, and so on, and has taken on leadership within some large automotive groups serving throughout the Midwest of the United States and the Eastern Seaboard. And lastly, joining Ashley and Bobby is Jennifer Briggs, who is the Director of Dealer Strategy. And Jennifer, much like her colleagues, has had a very exciting and rewarding career with many levels of executive and leadership responsibilities, spanning operations managers, corporate director, finance manager, internet sales manager, and we are most proud to announce that coming on the heels of Bobby Herron's win in 2014, Jennifer was blessed to be named the 2015 awarded in 2016 Automotive News 40 Under 40 Professional for Retail Automotive. It certainly should be an exciting discussion today. These leaders are absolutely sensational in their skills and in their courage and in their daily lives of leading the performance of automotive retail groups within Mexico and the United States and Canada. And in order to tee that up, we would like to make available to you a hashtag for the ability for you to ask questions. This is an open forum. This is an open mic. there has been some pre-webinar studies done to try to bring up some stimulating questions that seem to be very top of mind within the industry. But ladies and gentlemen, we're your dealer partner. This is a dealer-to-dealer call, and what we want to do is to give back. To give back the very insights, the courage that was shared long throughout our road of digital development, where we defined the disciplines and the processes that we've put in place. We learned those from dealers such as yourselves. And so we have now reached a position where we've been asked, and we will continue to give back to the very industry that we've been blessed to serve throughout our careers. So if you'll note on your screen, you should see a hashtag of Just Ask, and if you'll send that to @ZMOT then the team will be able to identify and filter and engage your responses, be it in this call or offline. So on that note, I wish you all a wonderful, spirited call, and I'm going to turn it over to your team to take it on further from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. So guys, we all selected questions through surveying dealers, and we've each selected questions that we're passionate about, and Bobby is going to kick it off for you. So Bobby, why don't you tell us the question you picked and go ahead and go into the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the questions that I hear a lot of the time, both in dealerships, on the floor, throughout forums and social media, and throughout conversations that I'm in events, is what is the difference between a lead and an in-market buyer? Many of you have posed this question to me because I've taught on this subject several times. And so I'd like to first address that a lead is an allowability and a mindset to create excuses in a store. So when we say on our floors on a Monday morning, did you answer the leads yesterday? When we say, did you get that lead from earlier, or did you see that lead set for 20 minutes? We allow a mindset to begin that a lead is different than an actual buyer. We wouldn't say when somebody walks into the showroom floor, we wouldn't look at them and say, oh, look, there's that buyer. There's that lead. Did anybody talk to that lead? All of a sudden, we humanize people. They become a person. They become an opportunity. And so when from the top down, we don't allow that separation, we change the way that the culture is in our store and how things are handled. A simple switch such as, did you answer the buyers that sent in questions today? Did you get those buyers that were online on the Elantra yesterday, on the Ford yesterday? And that's really where that starts. Now, the second part of that is when you're looking at a lead or an in-market buyer, what we're talking about is the difference between somebody maybe having a general question or sending in an employment application or asking something basic, and somebody who's really in the funnel and looking at a vehicle. You know, we focus on zero moment of truth, and we do that because that's the moment that a consumer switches from somebody who is just observing something to somebody who actually has an interest. And as you go farther down the funnel, there's a difference in how we respond to and address those things. At ZMOT, we say we deal with in-market buyers because we're bottom of the funnel. There are many lead providers out there or platform products out there or shoot and spray methods out there that people use that would be considered nothing more than just a lead. If you take all of those opportunities and really think about what you're implementing for the mindset within your store and within your culture, you can change the rate of conversion that you have both on the floor and over the phone, through digital, whether it's an email, whatever it is. The exact difference between the two is nothing more than a perception and an allowable amount of time until a person is ready to actually look at making a purchase or a lease within the store. So when we think about how we strategize both generation, which is the marketing side of bringing in an in-market buyer or a quote-unquote lead, and then we think about conversion, which is people and process, there's a stark difference between how those things are handled in order to create a sale. We far too often make it excusable as dealers on both a vendor, and I use that term lightly, we are a partner, we work with partners. But there are many vendors out there, and there are many vendors that are offering up leads to dealerships and saying, here's the marketing side of it, but we're not going to do anything in the store with any kind of conversion. And then the store says, I'm getting 500 times the amount of leads, I'm buying all this, I'm spending 10 grand, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. only what they're not doing is they're not doing anything that converts it on the other side, and their partners and their vendors are not helping them do that. So on both sides of that fold, you want to be able to implement a strategy that will convert both sides of it in order to produce a higher ROI.
Ashley, do you want to weigh in on the difference between a lead and an in-market buyer?
Yeah, I think that we could talk all day about how to market to in-market buyers, but the biggest takeaway that I think we probably have a lot of managers listening to this call, the takeaway that you guys can implement right away is your own mindset. So if you expect something to come from a buyer, just like we do on the showroom floor, if somebody walks into my dealership looking at vehicles, I have that expectation already set that they're going to do a demo, they're going to do a walk around, and we're going to get a write-up. That's the expectation. If somebody leaves without talking to a manager or doing a write-up, everyone blows their lid, right? So it's the same thing. When you switch your mindset from a lead to a buyer, there's going to be an expectation there that there's an appointment that then shows, and then we go through the showroom process with them. So I would challenge all of you to, in your store, the thing you can implement today is to change your pitch and start having an expectation right out of the gate that there needs to be an action had with each one of those buyers that are reaching out to you.
All right. So next question. Oh, this one's one of my favorite questions. So here's the question that I selected from those we collected. I don't want to use chat because then they don't have to give me their information. Can I just wait for them to fill out the lead form or call in? I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. My opinion on this is I'm shocked to find that we still have some dealers out there not using chat on their website because they think that the form fills are going to be good enough. But here is what I have to say about that. You need to be where your customers are, and you need to communicate with them the way they want to communicate. Chat is one of the best converting tools that you can use on your dealership website. I just encourage you, if you do not currently have chat on your website, please call call me later. I can talk to you for a couple of hours and I'll take you through the metrics and I will show you what happens as far as the unique visitors that you have on your site, cruising your search results page, looking at your VDPs, and how chat can actually help to convert more opportunities for you. I'm very passionate about it. I know that it works. Plus, those folks are kind of like, I want it now. It's really quickly, I can get some quick answers, and you can collect information, whether you manage your chat in-house or you use a fully managed service. It's still very important that you collect some information from them. And yes, they don't have to give you their information, but technically they don't have to give you your information on a phone call either. And your odds are a lot higher because more people will engage with the chat on your website. You want to be a little bit next level, right? Next level Briggs talking to you here. Don't stop at just putting chat on your website. If it converts ridiculously high, then put it on your search ads, put it on your display ads, put it on your social pages, put it on your email campaigns. Why stop at your website? You cannot skip chat today. It is so very important. And there are even some advancements to chat, right? When you talk about chat, people are really worried. I've seen it managed in-house by salespeople. I've seen it managed in-house by a business development department, and I've seen it managed by chat operators who are trained to go through those conversations. And every different type has a different response rate, but I will tell you the most successful thing, whether it is in chat, the same like Bobby and Ashley were talking about, is engaging with that consumer as if they were a person. So yes, it is a little bit more impersonal because it's just like an instant message. It's just a chat like a text. But most people are very comfortable with that communication. And if you're managing it in-house, make sure that your staff keeps it professional and cordial. You don't want them using, like they're texting with their buddies or their friends. But it is something that they can communicate very quickly and serve the customer in the right way. We need to communicate with them quickly so that they can get the info that they want. Now, there are lots of things about managed chat that is highly beneficial. If you choose to go a managed chat route because you don't feel like your staff has the training, or maybe they're not comfortable, trying to collect that information ahead of time, right? They don't have to give me anything. I don't want to do it. So if you go the managed chat route, I strongly encourage you to work with a chat partner. What we found is the best, because we do a chat where we can transfer to a salesperson. So at that point in time, when you do get the information and they are ready, we can transfer live to the sales floor phone call. That is so very important. We get them on the phone, and we also have some advancements where we can do a FaceTime via chat, right? We want to get face-to-face with those consumers. So if you do choose managed, make sure that it has that capability to be able to transfer it right directly to your sales team when that person is ready to go.
Jennifer, I'm curious because I'm seeing some questions coming in as you're talking about this. What do you think the difference is between a phone call and a chat lead that comes in? What do you think converts higher, or are they just different?
Well, I've seen the chats convert higher. The phone calls have great conversion, but it is just different. It's just a communication method. But what I find with most chat consumers is they're ready now. Just like we see for conversion and close on mobile form submissions or mobile, it's within a 48-hour time frame. So I am seeing a higher and a faster conversion rate for chat than I am with phone calls.
That's a great answer. One of the things that I would add in while we're talking about chat, and one of the things we talk about really often, is people will say, well, with managed chat, what's the intended purpose of the chat? Meaning, should they be trying to sell a car while they're on there? Should they be trying to set an appointment while they're on there? And the truth of the matter is that managed chat is designed to get the contact information for the consumer to turn them into an opportunity for the store. And just like any other opportunity, any other buyer that's walking in the showroom, that's calling on the phone, that's coming into our digital lot, online, our inventory, our website, all of those places have room to communicate with the customer in the way that they choose. We hear a lot that from people throughout the industry that they're nervous about chat because then somebody doesn't have to fill out a lead form, as Jennifer was saying, or they don't have to pick up the phone. But if you were truly to look at the traffic that comes into your website, it's thousands of people. Some of you, it's 10, 15, 20,000 people. You're not getting 20,000 direct actions, meaning phone calls, switchovers to your website, leads loosely used, in-market buyers that are coming in. Any of those things, they're not all turning into an opportunity. When you put managed chat or chat on your site and give a consumer an opportunity to communicate with you in a way that they're comfortable, what you're typically going to capture is that anonymous traffic. Will you see some leads go down? You might, but look, you might be on a website right now that requires an address to fill out a lead. You're probably not converting very well with that. I've never seen anybody convert high with that, and that's my specialty. So when you're looking at options and you're thinking, hey, I just got some more money in my budget, hey, I'm looking to drive some more stuff, this is one of those things that you really need to carve out the cash for and put it into the budget and say, I can direct 1 million people to my website and I can advertise the Ritz-Carlton, but if when they get there it's a broom closet, nobody's going to stay. And that's a huge, huge deal going forward. Great question, Jennifer.
Yeah, it's an important one.
Definitely. Miss Ashley Mayberry, why don't you tell us what's going on with you?
So I saw this question come through, and I just had to have it be part of the webinar because video is being talked about so much. And so the question was, everyone keeps talking about it. What's the big deal with video anyways? Well, I'm sure that almost every single one of us has watched a video this morning on Facebook, on YouTube, somewhere, right? So that right there should just be enough to say. But let's start with some statistics. So it was just reported that in 2017, video is going to take up 69% of all of our consumer internet traffic. And right now, Facebook is averaging 8 billion with a B, views every single day. So that's a lot of eyeballs. And with the acquisition of Google, or with Google's acquisition of YouTube, video is now giving you better SEO than ever. So why wouldn't you want to be part of that? But I get it, in the store, it's not an easy thing to implement. And I always like to give a care plan. So I'm going to give you 3 kind of steps that you can follow through. The first thing that I would start with if you're not doing any video at all is definitely your inventory. That's really easy. Typically with the right partner, that can be done pretty much automated for the most part. And if you're not doing anything, this is a great place to start. It's going to live on your website. You can put it out there on YouTube, and there's some other cool advanced features that you can do that take little to no effort from you inside your store. The second place I would go is how-to video and special. Okay, the reason that I would go there is because this can be championed by one person in the store and can typically be shot on a schedule. And the hardest thing that we have is engaging every single person in the store. So this is the next place I would go to. And if you look at it, last year, searches for how-to videos increased over 70% on YouTube. So that's a lot of people who are going to be coming to your site, and you're going to get a lot of SEO value off of those videos. They're going to be more engaged if you put them on social. A video is 10 times more likely to engage somebody by a comment or sharing or even watching it all the way through than a traditional post. The final thing is obviously follow up with video. This is the most challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Getting every single person in your store to do this right now, you might have one person, you might have zero, but getting every single person engaged in this is going to be difficult. There's some great trainers out there that can help you put this together. I'm happy to walk you through it. All three of us are great at video, so you can reach out to us at any time if you're at this place where you want to start to implement this. But just think about it this way. It's going to double your click-through rate on your emails when you engage with video. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Everything that we talk about all the time with especially internet follow-up processes is how do we get people to re-engage with us? How do we get them to open up that email? Nobody ever responds, right? You hear that from your people all the time. So it's just one more trick in the bag to increase that amount of engagement. It's definitely worth it. It's not easy, but start and then take the steps that you need to.
I love that you gave them an action plan. I'm just going to stand up on a soapbox. So I would like to think that 6 years ago in the first internet sales department that I ran, that I was a pioneer with video. Every single one of my internet sales consultants had a flip camera. Who on the call remembers flip cameras? I want you to text a big, oh yeah, to at ZMOT Auto if you remember those awesome flip cameras. So the thing about video is, guys, I break it down to some simplicity. We are all fascinated with it. One of the best things that I did, Ashley mentioned inventory videos. So one of the best things that I did to increase conversion on my website was I had inventory video, and then on my SRP, I had a giant green play button. It seems like in this fantastic YouTube culture, like we cannot stop from touching a green play button. If it has that little arrow icon, like we can press go, let's go. We see this conversion all of the time. So if you are looking to try and figure out a way to get more engagement on your VDP, if you're getting a higher conversion from SRP to VDP, that's a perfect recommendation that Ashley said. And that really does take little to no effort on your part. But for me, where video comes into play, it really is about engaging your buyers, engaging your consumers. I do this with all of my dealers that I work with. I shoot them videos, I send them to them. There's just something about it. Think about it, guys. When we had tons of people just walking into the store, it was fantastic. You could reach out to them, firmly shake their hand, look them in the eye and say, hello, welcome to Cardinale GMC. I am so excited to assist you today. You don't have that opportunity as much anymore. So we keep talking about how do we recreate this? How do we recreate this? And it is staring you right in the face. And I will tell you, I've been doing it for 6 years. And yes, it's difficult to get implemented. But like Ashley said, you start with one person. Have one person do it and show everybody else. I have had people, just tell me that I'm crazy. There's no way to do it. But there's some shortcuts to get your team engaged. So start first with like a 30-second to a 1-minute introductory video. Just really quickly, something that you can embed into their email signature block that says, click here to meet me. That is going to take this internet buyer who's been completely anonymous, who doesn't know you from Adam, and it's going to put not just a name, but a face and a voice to that response. And then, so get that in there as your first step to get your team involved and in on video. The second thing that you can do are new car model walkarounds, right? You can do that for every single model on your lot, and you can save them for your team. It's a real live video for them to send to consumers who are requesting information about a vehicle that you sell. You're going to get a lot better response rates. Now, of course, here we go again, bumping it up, taking it to the next level. Pick one person, one salesperson, one appointment center, one person who is willing to go out there and do actual live personal responses. There are some fantastic success stories for this in our business, and it works. So get one person bought in, and when they start selling twice as many more cars as everyone else, the rest of the team will follow.
So one of the things that I want to address with video before we go on to the next question, video is something I'm extremely passionate about, both in a dealership and outside of it. Often we look at this and people say to me, well, I just can't get people to do it. And here's the challenge that I believe you're finding with that, is that I want you to think about it like we do the service lane when we sell, right? We put up a schedule, or we say to 10 different people, go out on the service lane, talk to that customer. The customers that are already ours are the easiest ones to sell another vehicle to if we're doing it right. Then we struggle with it and we say, why aren't they going out there and doing it? I don't get it. If we know it, just like video, if we know it, why won't they do it? It's the initiation of contact that changes things. We have spent years teaching control, standing on the point, talking to people who come to us. We have not spent enough time teaching how to initiate contact with somebody who may not be making it apparent that they are interested. And it's the same thing with video. What happens is you'll have a team of salespeople who either don't want to go on video because they don't want the critique that comes along with it afterwards, right? Those moments are recorded, or doesn't go on video because they're just not comfortable initiating that contact. And there's two different kinds of video, right? There's live video, which is going to be for things like having a conversation with a customer through a FaceTime call, having a chat transferred over to video like we do at ZMOT, having a recording done with a customer that you're then sending over to them is a different kind of video, right? One is static, one is recorded, one is not. Where I would challenge you is to stop thinking about the people that should be using video as the youngest people on your floor, or the person who you saw use a video and send it to their girlfriend. And think about the art of the close. Think about the person on your floor that can pull somebody into an office and mirror their body language and mimic their behavior and use the same words. We taught that for years in the automotive industry when it came to closing. So imagine if that guy on your sales floor that won't take the digital leads because he doesn't know how to communicate can all of a sudden take a customer who's never entered your showroom and put him at his desk. How powerful does that then become? I would challenge you to stop limiting the abilities of the people on your sales floor based on them telling you no to something or not being comfortable, and start to magnify those strengths. You only have to find one person on the floor who's bought in and will get it to get an entire dealership of people to want to try something new. So one of the things that you could do today is you could issue a challenge to your staff, your managers first, before your salespeople. Let's get bought in from the top, and have them make a customer response with a video. It doesn't matter if they crawl through a trunk. It doesn't matter if you can't hear what they're saying. It's not supposed to be professional. It's supposed to be credible. And the most advanced thing that we can do to help our staff and set them up for success with this is to help them practice when we're not practicing on real people. As we're talking about this, we're getting a lot of questions coming in. This is a very hot topic. Ashley, I know, is looking at a question right now for Jennifer, so I'm going to pass that over to you.
Yeah, the question came in from Tyler Smith, and it says, Instagram just increased the video to 1 minute. Do you all think dealerships will adopt IG video?
That is a great question, and I think that for some sales staff, it may be easier to adapt to Instagram video than it is to do video and embed and send an email, just because they're more comfortable with the platform. But for dealerships in general, I would love to say, yes, I think that they can, but of course for 6 years I've been scratching my head trying to figure out why they don't like video at all. So for Instagram video, I think you're going to see for those salespeople and managers who love the platform and are already comfortable with it, I think that actually will make it easier for them. But as far as industry-wide adoption, I think it might be a couple years before that'll happen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You know, we have a young gentleman at one of our Mazda stores in the Cardinale group that sells 10 cars plus per month off of Snapchat. And that's only a 30-second video. So I have full faith that everyone should be adopting it. It's just a question of who has the courage to do it first.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great questions. Keep them coming.
All right, Bobby.
All right. So this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. I love recruiting and retention. But I'm a little outside of the box when it comes to that. I always ask people, do you prefer to hire with experience or do you prefer to hire without? That question doesn't mean which one do you do. That question means what your preference is, and here's why. I believe that you can hire somebody with ambition and drive and that you can't teach that. I also believe that you hire somebody with morals and a foundational belief in the same thing as your company, because you can't teach that. Skill set, it's one of the easiest things out there to teach. My preference is not to hire somebody who has 20 years in the business and has gone from dealership to dealership. Does that mean that I would outrule somebody who had 20 years in the business and went to dealership? Absolutely not. What I'm looking for is influencers. What I'm looking for is people who are known as connectors. A connector is someone, you've met them in your life, you probably came across them, and all of a sudden you felt an electric energy, right? A magnetism to that person. That charm, that's a connector. And that's something that you can't teach. People ask me, where do I find salespeople that actually get it? Well, you got to start with managers that actually get it. One of the most frustrating things that I see when you do find a salesperson is letting them start on day one and having them come in, and then everybody's in a meeting, and, oh, hold on, I'm working a deal. Okay, well, there's your desk. Maybe just move around. Let me walk you through the dealership. Oh, your business cards? Oh, those will be here next week. Oh, your computer? Oh, it's here, but your training will start tomorrow. When we hire people and we start them on day one with the mindset that it's okay to not be prepared and productive, we are the problem. When we bring people in and we decide that it's more of a priority to go through a computer system or order a shirt or whatever it is that's happening on the lot over getting them set up for success, we are the problem. So I would tell you, when you're looking for salespeople that actually get it, start out with making sure that you're prepared to bring on people that you can teach to do what you need them to do from the first moment on, right? One of the other questions that I heard a lot in this, and you see it on the screen now, is how do I hire women for sales and service? So in our industry, the NADA said last year that 92% was the turn rate for women in our business. And look, I don't care if you're a man, a woman, a millennial, a child, a grown-up, I don't care. To me, when I'm saying how do I hire somebody, I'm looking for the right person for the job. I'm looking for people that my consumer can relate to, that they will find an emotional rapport with, that they will feel comfort in doing business with, and that as a result of that, they will return to do business with us again. When I'm thinking about hiring people, one of my favorite places to hire people from is the mall, right? So I like to hire women from places like Macy's and Nordstrom's, cosmetic counters. Think about the amount of rejection you face in a day when you stand at one of those cosmetic counters. Just think about the last time that you walked through there. Rejection is huge in our business, and it's something you have to be prepared to handle, and it's something that your sales staff struggles with every day. They are being told no all the time. So ladies and gentlemen, you want to hire a woman on your sales floor, you want to hire a man on your sales floor, you want to hire somebody who's getting it done, start looking at hospitality industry. And we say this, but I very rarely see people go out and do it. If you're a guy listening to this call, if you're a gentleman who's a general manager, a sales manager, I don't know when the last time you bought your wife a present was, but one of the best things you could do for recruiting at work and happiness at home is to visit the Macy's cosmetic counter, do a couple different trips, maybe buy a perfume one time, maybe something else, and see how these people are interacting. Start to develop a relationship at the counter over the next couple of weeks, and then begin to recruit. And remember that when you're recruiting someone, when you find somebody that you really want to hire, it's not about saying right now, oh, I want you on my sales floor. It's about building a relationship for a couple conversations. It's about waiting for what we call the contentment curve to drop. Because for everyone who's leaving a job, the majority are leaving a job because they're quitting the people, not the job. And if they're at the bottom of their contentment curve, you'll find that it's easier to grab them in. Cell phone kiosks in the middle of the mall, great place to hire people from, okay? Start thinking about stuff like that. You want somebody aggressive in a BDC that won't take no for an answer? Hit up any kind of thing in the middle of the mall that sells bouncy balls, fake hair, curling irons, doesn't matter. I'm telling you what, these people here know all day long, and they do not take no for an answer because they have been taught to learn how to work on pure commission, and those amounts are low. I prefer not to hire people with experience given the option. I would rather put the work in and train somebody the right way, because hiring the right way is what requires you to be able to give somebody the skill set they need to keep them on your sales floor, to keep them in your management offices. Bringing people in and doing loose-based training and then wondering why you've got 6-car Fred on your floor is not 6-car Fred's fault. It's the management staff not putting into their people what they need. If you're proactively hiring, proactively looking, and proactively recruiting, then when 6-car Fred is not doing his actual job, you can move on and have a bullpen of people ready for you coming in right then. Waitresses, waiters, people in coffee houses are some of the best people to hire because they have not been taught to sell. They have been taught to please and serve people. And ultimately, no matter what level of control we want to have anymore, sales is basic psychology and control. It is basically selling yourself. I can buy the product that you offer anywhere. I can go to 6 different dealerships. I can get the same inventory. I can get the same price. I can get the same trade-in. I can get the same lease payment. And you know, this is an unpopular thing to say, but you're not special. The dealership is not special. The people that work there are what make it a place that people want to do business. So start hiring people based on their skill sets with people, and stop hiring people because they sold cars somewhere else and you're not going to have to put the training in. And that's hard for some of you to hear. So I would challenge you to check yourself and say, am I looking the way that I should be? Am I putting the work in? And maybe you are. And if you are, I'll pat you on the back all day long and tell you that here's the next level you should get to find your next set of people, since you're already doing the basics. If not, I would say that you most definitely need to start there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And when I read this question, really what came to my mind was we're always asking the wrong question. I think that asking where do I find these people is actually the wrong question. You have people coming in all the time trying to get a job with you that you turn down either because they didn't have the 5 years of experience that you were looking for and you don't want to train them. And so that's exactly where Bobby was going with the training. But you also need to make sure that you're hiring right. All the time, I see people who bring on salesmen and women, and then they're disappointed, right? In that first day, that person's already annoying them. They're already not doing it right. And things start to come out that maybe they didn't know about. Well, when you look into their hiring process, they had a 15-minute phone conversation with them, and then another 15 minutes face-to-face, decided that they could be friends, and then put them on the floor. That's not a good situation for anyone. Not only are you setting yourself up for turnover, which is increased cost, frustration, time for you, but also you're bringing somebody into this job that possibly you're going to let them go after 30 days, and that's not fair to them. So I would really encourage you to put together a hiring process where you're doing an hour phone conversation, especially for someone who's going to be on the phone. You need to know what they're going to sound like. You need to do a skills assessment test. And I don't mean by that they need to know how to do everything exactly the way that you want them to, but you should probably already know that they don't know how to spell or capitalize at the beginning of a sentence before you decide to hire them. That shouldn't be a surprise. Why didn't you find that out before, right? So you need to take them through a process. When I hire for my BDCs or for my internet departments, it's 2 weeks before you're even going to get a yes or no answer. I'm probably going to meet with you 5 or 6 times. And that's even if I've been recruiting you and if I've been getting to know you. So you still have to go through the same process. The idea that you can just read a resume and then meet with somebody for 15, 20, 30 minutes and make a decision is just the wrong way to go.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. When we're talking about resumes, when we're talking about looking at people on paper, those are just words on paper. I'm telling people now who are applying for positions or who we're giving advice to on hiring that you should be looking for a video resume. We're hired in sales because of our personalities. What better way to be able to showcase that, right? And Ashley is 100% right when it comes to that phone call. You have to do a phone call interview with people now. You need to know what their voice sounds like on the phone. You need to know if they can articulate a word pattern, a speech thought through a conversation that engages a consumer. You also need to know what their voice sounds like on the phone. Do they smile while they talk? Can you hear it in the tone? Because one of the biggest low-hanging fruits in a dealership is phone calls. And everybody says, we got to get training on phone calls. We got to get training on phone calls. Well, could we just maybe try to take a phone call like a normal human being once first and sound the way that we should? You need to know what's happening with that when you do. The other part of that Ashley brought up that I thought was extremely important throughout this conversation is the amount of time that it takes to hire somebody. When you're proactively hiring, you no longer have to hire overnight, and people can fake it through one interview. They can maybe even fake it through two. But when you start to get to 3 and 4, there are going to be things that come out in those conversations that you did not notice before. And staffing the dealership floor is one of the most important things that you can do. It should be a bigger priority throughout the dealership. So I thought that was a great answer, Ash.
Yeah, I'm going to slide in a formula. Bobby said be proactive. Look at your sales forecast. Look at it. You've got it done for the year, right? So figure out how many sales per sales associate you expect to have, and then do the math, you guys. That's how you know how many chairs you need to fill each and every single month. Stop waiting until you blow somebody out. Be proactive. Okay, we're going to jump on. I just wanted to give you that formula so it was easy for you to be proactive. Okay. So Bobby said something a moment ago. She said, you're not special. And so that is something that I have really struggled to help a lot of dealers figure out. And it sounds weird, but your why-buy message. So that's why I picked this question. How do I figure out a why-buy message for my store to use in advertising? Everyone's are the same. Because everybody says, well, most of them anyhow, family-owned, operated for 30-plus years, community members, participate in the Chamber of Commerce, we've got the best selection, we've got the best prices. Those are not why-buy. Those things do not make you special. When we talk about a why-buy message, you guys, this is your brand. This is how the community views you and why they should choose you over somebody else. And it cannot be the same stuff everybody is saying in your market, everybody is saying across the country. What you have to do is look at those unique things. It ties into everything. What really does truly make you special? I've worked with organizations before. We've put together huge loyalty and why-buy campaigns, doing things like some people do free tires for life. That is unique. That is special. That's a why-buy. Some people do deductible reimbursement programs. That is a why-buy. Some people do a buyback guarantee, right, with stipulations. Don't worry, I've closed a ton of deals by saying, it's okay. If you take that vehicle home, you put it in the driveway and you decide that the color of the car does not match the shutters, just bring it back. Do me a favor, take a picture of the house so we can make sure that the next one we put you into complements the color of the shutters, and we'll get you happy and on your way. That is a why-buy. These are unique selling propositions. Think about that. And if you're not exactly sure what your why-buy is, like we love to say, just ask. Bobby had mentioned at one point in time looking at your reviews. One thing that I think is important to do is to survey your employees. Do a survey monkey. Find out what they think are the reasons why somebody should buy a car here from you. If it is because you have a video process to expedite it, if it's because you have a VIP specialty drink order process, explain those types of things. The other reason why it's so very important to survey your employees about it Doesn't matter if we sit back in the executive office and we come up with a fantastic why-buy message and we put together a wonderful marketing strategy to get it across everywhere. If our staff, every single member of our staff, sales, service, administration, does not know what that message is, then you just wasted a ton of marketing dollars. You are going to blast that message all over the place. People are going to call and they're not going to get the experience you just sold them, or the person that they speak to is not going to know about the deductible reimbursement program. And then you've got egg on your face. So not only do you need to dig deep to find out what that is, who you are, what is your brand, because folks, we're responsible for that brand. It's our brand. We decide how that comes across, and make sure that it is strong. Have the courage to say, I'm not going to be like everybody else. I am not going to stand on top of a barrel and pound my chest and say that I've got the lowest prices in town. I promise you, somebody might beat your price. If you're going to do that, do something. There's an organization that's doing 110% price protection guarantee. That sounds stronger. Don't say I have the lowest prices. Say if one of the competitors can beat my pricing, I will give you 110% of the difference. So if it's $200, 110% of $200 is only $220. You get the deal by discounting a little bit more. Make sure that it's unique and make sure that it is special. You can't be like everyone. If you have that message, it will be so easy to convince consumers and just explain to them why you're different. You will sell a ton of cars. This could be like a whole 4-hour session. We've got a lot of things on it, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let Bobby weigh in on it because I know she's got some stuff she's holding back here. I see it.
So why-buy messaging is one of my favorite things to talk about. I have a lot of favorite things to talk about in automotive, the whole industry I love. But one of the things I love about why-buy messaging is that I really believe that dealers would give a stronger message if they just understood how, right? One of the projective exercises that I do with all my clients is sit down with your sales managers, and I want you to each come up with 2 reasons for why somebody should buy a car from you. If all things were created equal and you were next door to your biggest competitor, why would you be the choice? What I'm consistently hearing is, like Jennifer said, we've got the most inventory. No, you don't. The internet does. We have the best CSI. Really? Because the last 10 cars I bought, somebody told me to make sure I filled that out perfect so John could get his bonus. Stop utilizing things that used to work, right? And start thinking about really why should somebody buy from you. And one of the best pieces of advice, the best takeaways that I can give you is to do this with your store. Do this with your salespeople and with your managers, and don't say what the solution is. Come back together as a group and don't critique anybody. Give credit for attempting to come up with somebody, and then assign them each to go out and look at 10 of your customer reviews. Each look for 10, because often what we don't see in our stores, our customers do. Let them tell you why they bought from you. Why did they buy there? Was it because of your people? You're going to be surprised by how many people bought from you because of the experience that they had in the store. And it's not enough to say, well, we provide a great experience, but you can say things like, we sit down and truly answer the questions that a consumer had that they did not get answered somewhere else. Sounds simple, right? Sounds like something you probably think you do all the time, but that's not consistently occurring. You're going to find that in a majority of those why-buy reviews, those customer testimonials, people are going to say things like, I didn't feel pressured. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. Perception is reality. It doesn't matter if you were actually aggressive in the approach or not. It's how they perceived themselves to feel. I could make you feel like you should buy something from me and still make you feel when you come out of it like, I asked so thoughtfully. It was just me doing a favor for you. No, it wasn't. It's perception and it's control and it's buy-in. So challenge you to go back and do that. Have your store get together, and that is for you, not your store. That is so that you are of the mindset and the understanding that you will be shocked by how many people in your store cannot give you a solid reason on why they should buy from you or their family should buy from you, but your consumers will. So I would definitely throw that out there. And I know we're coming down to a limited amount of time, and Ashley has some stuff that's been coming in. What do you got for us, Ash?
Yeah, so we had another question come in. It says, Chaps Convert But what about landing pages for specific vehicles?
Ah, yes. Is this from Tyler?
It is from
Man,
Tyler.
Tyler, shout out to you. You have some great questions today. I'll weigh in on that first and then pass it over. So I am a huge advocate for specific landing pages. And here's why. If it's not enough that it can generate more organic traffic for you, if it's not enough that the consumer could actually find an answer to a question without leaving your website, if it's not enough that you have an opportunity to put something in front of someone that actually allows them to make an educated decision, which makes your job a whole lot more efficient and easier when they get there, just think about the amount of wasted advertising dollars that you are pumping out into an industry to put a message in front of someone, a potential buyer, an opportunity, only to land them on something that they immediately are like, boom, I'm done. This isn't what I was looking for. A really good example of this, I would challenge every one of you to look up some of your PPC ads, right? Think about if you're the customer who has had maybe 20 different auto intender behaviors. If you don't know what that means behavior that implies you are looking at something automotive online, whether it's service or sales. Think about the message that is served to them. Is it a payment message? Is it a why buy message? Are you brilliant and you're doing both? Where does the customer land? When they click it, if they go to an inventory page after looking at a why buy message, are you really communicating with them? What about a military ad? If you serve a military ad with an additional rebate up to a consumer, right, and you're paying so much money, the industry spends $55 billion a year on advertising. And you're pumping out this money to put this ad in front of somebody because it's got a military rebate, but you're targeting the whole city who doesn't qualify for the military rate. And then when they click on it, you're landing them on an inventory page that is not a special experience. That is crap, that is converting at an extremely low rate that you are wasting money on. And the very first thing I would tell you is that you do not have the tools required to be able to convert that customer. They should be landing on a military page with information, with rebates, with inventory that is relatable, and with the option to then move on from there when the consumer is ready. Basic stuff. And if you're not doing it, I would guarantee 80% of you are not. Get on your Google, do a search. That's one of the 100 things you need landing pages for, or conversion for conquest. There are so many missed opportunities in the advertising right now. It's shameful when you even think about it.
Well, Bobby makes a fantastic point.
Of course I do.
Of course she does. That's why she's my main chick, right? So here's the thing, guys. You sitting on this call, dealers, general managers, some internet directors, you don't know how to go about doing that, right? You know that you should, but how do you do it? Somebody shows you ad copy, it's this, that, it's whatever. Listen to what Bobby just told you, and here's what I'm going to tell you. You need to lean on your partners. As a dealer, I've been in the retail automotive space. I started in automotive back in 2002. As a dealer, I am telling you to lean on your partners to help you do this. We have to give our consumers the best experience possible. And what Bobby is saying, go do a search, see how it feels to go through that process. Take yourself out of your chair and think about the consumer experience. Now, once you realize you need to give a better consumer experience, lean on your partners to help you with that. Do you know how to build a landing page? Probably not. Maybe you do because you're awesome, right? You're learning right now, so you all probably do. If you don't, call your website company and say, hey, I need help building a landing page. Can we get that accomplished? Call one of your other partners to assist you. Make sure that it's linking and it's going where you want your customers to go. Lean on your partners. If you don't know, it's fine. Call somebody and ask.
What should you do if you lean on them and they fight back? Are those vendors or partners?
Well, they're not partners. If they fight back against you and they're not going to help you give a better experience to your consumer, they are not in your corner. We say at Cardinale, we reserve the right to represent our brand, 100% responsibility. You put that on them. You are paying them to assist you. If they can't assist you, now I'm not saying beat down their doors. I'm saying work with them as a partnership relationship. If they refuse, I think you should probably consider the fact of whether or not they're a true partner.
You should probably call us.
You know, that's
I'm not supposed to say that.
You know, that's a great point, Jennifer. And one of the other things, our brand promise at the Cardinale group of companies is we develop outstanding relationships where everyone wins. And part of that means that we cannot and will not partner with anybody who is not willing to develop an outstanding relationship with us and is not willing to have a win-win situation. And I would say, whether that's your brand promise or not, do you really want to be in business with somebody who's not in it to win it with you?
That's a great point. That's great. Hey, Nick, I see your question there on your sales team. They're anti-video. So that is something you're going to run into all the time. Now, what can you do to get them to buy in? So first thing you need to do, and I did a video training for all of my sales managers across my 8-store group that I left most recently. All of my sales managers came to this video and mobile training. So the question was, how do I do it? Well, if you're a sales manager, you're an internet manager, e-com, a marketing director, GM, dealer principal, and you want your sales team to do it, you need to go out on the lot and do it first. I promise you, when they see you out there doing a walk around with your cell phone, and you come back in and you're excited, you're showing them, you're putting your money where your mouth is. I never ask someone in a store to do something that I wouldn't do myself or I haven't done myself hundreds of times. That buys you a lot of credibility, and that's how you start to get buy-in.
Just to address what you said too for that question is, remember what I said, that video is something that people are not comfortable with, and that is why they don't want to do it. It's not that they don't want to do it. It's that they're not comfortable with it. So I would tell you, think about this like a care plan. One of the things that we focus on at ZMOT is care plans for our dealers. We don't change everything overnight, right? And you're not going to either. And that's part of creating buy-in. So what I want you to do for the next month is every day I want you to do what's called a $10 takeaway. Okay, it could be a $5 takeaway, it can be a $10 takeaway. Every day put a challenge on the board that says you will buy lunch for or hand $10 to the person who makes a video that day, and make it a challenge, right? So you could say everybody's going to vote on it. You can make a topic. These videos are not for the customer. These videos are internal only, and they are designed to get your salespeople more comfortable with using videos. You can start with things like, go make a video of the most creative way to explain navigation. Go find the car out on the lot that was traded in that is the craziest, nastiest, most ridiculous car, and sell it to me. Look at recently the water pitch contest, right? You think about stuff like that. Let them give you a reason to sell something. Let them get comfortable. Don't start talking about stuff about how like bald tires are impressive. You're doing this every day. You're not doing it to critique. You're not doing it to sell something. You're doing it to get them comfortable on camera, and you will begin to weed out the people that don't belong on camera. Magnify the strengths of the people on your team. If they're good on the phone, teach them to be better on the phone. If they're good at digital email, teach them to be better at email. If they're good at video, teach them to be better at video instead of trying to hyperbalance all these different sales sets or skill sets that we have in our business, and do that today. But the most important thing you can do to start that contest is to get out there and make your own. Because if the managers aren't doing it, nobody else is going to do it either. Get the influencer on your floor. You have one. Everybody does, a minimum of one. It's either going to be the highest selling person or the most connecting influencer on your floor, and get that person bought in. Because whether you're the manager or the salesperson, that's actually the person that influences your team every day, even more than you. I love that you asked that question. All right, we're coming to 12:26.
Oh, yeah. Sean, I know we're coming close on time. Do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
All right. So one of the questions on here was in relation to how to pick a provider, right? Who do we recommend? What I'd like to follow up on kind of what Bobby alluded to, whenever it comes time to pick a partner, right? Doesn't matter what the product is, if it's a training service, if it's a CRM, if it is a website company, when you go forward to pick a partner, you need to make sure, first of all, just kind of like you're hiring, you're being proactive with it. It's a need. You want to take your time to get to know their product and look at least, I always looked at least 3. Put them side by side and then decided based off of what my needs were, right? Not necessarily about exactly what their bells and whistles are, but what are my needs and can it fit to my needs? If it doesn't fit to my needs, is this partner willing to work with me and modify and customize it so that it is perfect for my dealership. So for me, it's less about, picking a platform or doing this or doing that. It's about picking the exact right partner. I tell people all the time, there's a lot of fantastic CRM companies on the market, but one that works amazingly in one store, we use one, but it might not be right for you. It has to be what's right for your store to help you accomplish your goal and your mission. So to respond to that, which providers would I recommend? I'd have to know more about your store to tell you what I think would be a good fit for you. So feel free to reach out to me at Next Level Briggs on Twitter. I'd be happy to kind of talk to you about what you're doing and then help you pick somebody that's right for you.
Well, and I would tell you guys too, and you'll see all of our information on the screen here, and our cell phone numbers are probably the easiest thing ever to find. Just hit us up, right? Google search us.
It's on Facebook.
Right. But I would definitely tell you when it comes to that question, one of the things that I think is extremely important to address is, in my opinion, in my past history, in my current role, I can identify a partner in the first 20 minutes of a conversation, because a partner doesn't come to you and say, hey, I have a great product we're going to work really good for you. A partner comes to you and says, tell me a little bit about your store, your people, your culture, and what you're trying to accomplish. Because a partner isn't going to be somebody that's going to hold your hand and pat your back and make you feel good every day.
Yeah.
A partner is somebody who's going to change you. I always say, I don't want to hear excuses. I'm not the person that's going to pick up the phone and give you a hug and say, you're doing such a darn great job. That's so awesome. I'm going to say that on your showroom floor, and then behind closed doors, I'm going to remind you that I'm not your husband or your wife, and my job isn't to make you feel good. My job is to help you make money. And that means not sugarcoating conversations that might be uncomfortable in an effort to help you grow. And that is what you are looking for in a partner anywhere. Positive in public, critical only in private, and always invested in your success.
Absolutely.
Immensely huge in exactly what you need in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So I think that kind of wraps things up for today. We would love to hear from you guys. Any questions that you didn't get answered, hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter, on LinkedIn. We can throw out our phone numbers for you, but they're pretty easy to find. They're all over the place, including all of those social accounts. So Thank you for your time and attention today. Jennifer, would you like to say goodbye to everybody?
Sure. Thank you guys for some really great questions. I love to hear what's going on, so keep the questions going, guys, and sending them on social is a nice, easy way to do it. If you're asking the question, so is somebody else. So go ahead and put it out there. We'll contact you, or we can answer it live on social media, so we're helping a lot of dealers at the same time.
That's a great point. So we'll be checking Twitter at ZMOT Auto, hashtag just ask all day today. So if you have further questions, I know that we're out of time today, but I appreciate all the engagement. And we look forward to doing this again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much for attending today's webinar. And thank you to ZMOT Auto, Bobby, Jennifer, and Ashley for some great content. To view this webinar on demand and future Digital Dealer webinars, please visit digitaldealer.com/webinars. Thank you, and have a great day.